Hi, and welcome to English Channel. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
1. Introduction. The Land of Ice. Greenland is the largest island in the world. It is in the Arctic, far from most other countries. The land is cold, quiet, and covered with ice and snow for most of the year. Long winters and short summers make life very hard. But Greenland is special in human history. Brave people learned how to live here. They survived the cold, followed nature, and built strong cultures in one of the harshest places on Earth. 2. The first people. Survival in the Arctic. People came to Greenland thousands of years ago. Archaeologists believe the first settlers arrived long before modern times. These early people are called the Paleo-Eskimos. They lived along the coast, close to the sea. The ocean gave them food and life. They hunted animals and fished in cold waters. Their tools were very simple. They used stone, bone, and wood to make knives, hooks, and weapons. Life was hard, but they slowly learned how to survive in the Arctic cold. Later, a new group of people arrived. They were called the Thule people. The Thule were the ancestors of today's Inuit. They were very skilled and smart. They built kayaks to travel on the water and used dog sleds to move across ice and snow. In winter, they built igloos from snow to stay warm. They hunted seals and whales for food, clothing, and tools. These people did not fight nature. They listened to it. They learned its rules and lived in balance with the land. 3. Inuit culture. Life, family, and tradition. Inuit culture grew from life in the Arctic. Every part of daily life was connected to nature. Men and women had different but equally important roles. Men usually hunted seals, fish, and sometimes whales. They traveled on ice and water to find food for their families. Women prepared the food and made clothes from animal skin and fur. These clothes were very warm and helped people survive the cold winters. Women also took care of children and the home. Family was very important in Inuit life. Children learned by watching their parents. They learned how to hunt, fish, travel on ice, and respect nature. Stories and songs were a big part of Inuit tradition. Elders told stories at night to teach lessons about life, animals, and the land. These stories helped children understand their world and remember important knowledge. Inuit people were also artists. They made tools, toys, and art from bone, stone, and wood. They carved animals, masks, and small figures. Language was another strong part of their culture. The Greenlandic language helped pass traditions from one generation to the next. Today, Inuit culture still lives on. People still speak Greenlandic, hunt and fish, and respect the old ways while using modern tools. 4. The Vikings arrive. Hope in a frozen land. Around the year 986, a Viking named Eric the Red arrived in Greenland. He came from Iceland after being forced to leave his home. Eric was looking for a new place to live. When he saw Greenland, he believed it could be a land of hope. He arrived during summer, when the land looked green near the coast. He named the island Greenland to make it sound welcoming and attractive. Many Vikings followed Eric the Red. They sailed across the cold ocean and built villages along the coast. The Vikings were farmers and hunters. They raised sheep, goats, and cows. They tried to grow crops like barley. They built houses from stone and grass with thick walls to keep out the cold wind. Life was very difficult. Winters were long and dark, and food was sometimes hard to find. Even so, the Vikings did not give up. They believed they could build a new future in Greenland. They worked hard, helped each other, and traded with Europe. Greenland was a land of ice, but it was also a land of hope. 5. Two worlds meet, Vikings and Inuit. When the Vikings settled in Greenland, they were not alone. The Inuit already lived on the island. This was the first time two very different cultures met in this frozen land. The Vikings came from Europe. They were farmers, sailors, and traders. The Inuit were Arctic hunters who understood ice, animals, and weather. At first, life was not easy for either group. Greenland was cold, wild, and dangerous. Slowly, the Vikings and the Inuit learned about each other. They did not always live together, but they saw one another while hunting or traveling. There may have been small trade and quiet exchanges. The Vikings learned important survival skills from the Inuit. They learned how to hunt seals on ice and how to move safely in extreme cold. The Inuit showed them tools made for Arctic life and ways to read the weather. The Inuit also learned from the Vikings. They saw new tools made of iron and learned about European weapons and boats. Both groups faced the same enemy, nature. Storms, ice, hunger, and darkness affected everyone. To survive, people needed knowledge, patience, and cooperation. Greenland taught them a hard lesson. No culture could survive alone without understanding the land. This meeting of two worlds showed how humans can learn from each other when life is difficult. 6. The Little Ice Age, when nature fights back. After many years, Greenland became even colder. This time is called the Little Ice Age. The weather slowly changed. Winters became longer and harsher. Summers became shorter and cooler. Ice grew thicker on the sea. Storms were stronger. Nature began to fight back. For the Vikings, life became very hard. Farming started to fail. Crops did not grow well. Animals did not have enough food. Many sheep and cows died. Without animals, people had less meat, milk, and warmth. Trade also became difficult. Ships from Europe could not reach Greenland easily because of ice. Without trade, the Vikings lacked iron, tools, and supplies. Hunting helped, but it was not enough. There were fewer animals to hunt. People became hungry and sick. Some Vikings may have tried to leave Greenland. Others stayed and struggled to survive. Over time, the Viking villages became smaller and quieter. Then they disappeared. By the 15th century, the Vikings were gone. No one knows exactly what happened to the last Vikings. Some may have died from hunger or disease. Some may have sailed away. The cold was too strong. Nature was more powerful than human plans. This is the great mystery of Greenland's history. The Little Ice Age reminds us that humans must respect nature, or nature will decide our fate. 7. Danish rule. Change from the south. After the Vikings disappeared, Greenland stayed quiet for many years. In the early 1700s, people from Denmark came to the island. They came from the south, across the cold sea. Denmark wanted to bring Greenland back into the European world. Danish missionaries arrived first. They wanted to teach Christianity to the Inuit people. Churches were built, and new beliefs slowly spread. Some Inuit accepted these ideas, while others kept their old traditions. Trade also changed life in Greenland. Danish traders set up small towns along the coast. They brought goods like tools, cloth, and food from Europe. In return, Inuit people traded animal skins, fish, and whale products. This new system connected Greenland to the outside world again. Denmark also introduced schools and new laws. Children learned to read and write. They learned the Danish language, along with Greenlandic. Life began to change, slowly but deeply. Over time, Inuit and Danish cultures started to mix. Some Inuit wore European clothes. Some Danish people learned local skills, like fishing and traveling on ice. Greenland was no longer completely isolated. A new society was forming, shaped by both the North and the South. 8. Life under Danish influence. Life under Danish influence brought many changes to Greenland. Education improved. Schools helped children learn reading, writing, and new ideas about the world. Medical care also developed. Doctors and hospitals helped people live longer and healthier lives. These changes made daily life safer, especially in towns and villages. Work also changed. Fishing became the most important job. Many people fished for cod, shrimp, and halibut. Hunting was still important, especially in small communities. People continued to hunt seals and other animals for food and clothing. Modern boats and tools made work easier, but old skills were still needed. Even with many changes, Inuit people did not lose their identity. They kept their language, stories, and respect for nature. Traditional music, art, and hunting skills were passed to younger generations. Inuit culture survived inside a new society. Danish influence brought progress, but Greenland's heart remained Arctic. 9. World War II and the modern world. World War II changed Greenland in a powerful way. Before the war, Greenland was quiet and far from the world. But during the war, its location became very important. Greenland sat between North America and Europe. Control of the North Atlantic was critical. When Denmark was occupied by Germany, Greenland could not receive help from Europe. The island had to look west instead of south. The United States stepped in to protect Greenland. American forces built air bases and weather stations. These bases helped planes cross the Atlantic and shared weather information for the war. For the first time, Greenland saw many foreign soldiers, machines, and new technology. Roads, airstrips, radios, and modern buildings appeared. Money entered the local economy. Jobs were created, and life changed quickly. After the war, many American bases remained for some time. Greenland was no longer isolated. The modern world had arrived. Technology, new tools, and outside ideas became part of daily life. People used radios, later televisions, and modern transport. Greenland moved from a quiet Arctic land into the global system. 10. A new voice. Home rule and self-government. As Greenland changed, people began to ask for a stronger voice. They wanted to make decisions for their own land. In 1979, Greenland received home rule from Denmark. This meant local leaders could control many areas, such as education, culture, and health. It was a historic moment. Greenlanders felt proud and hopeful. In 2009, Greenland took another big step. Self-government was established. This gave even more power to the Greenlandic Parliament. Greenlandic became the official language. People felt their national identity growing stronger. They were no longer only a distant land under Danish control. Today, Greenland is still connected to Denmark, but it stands much taller than before. Many people believe full independence may come one day. Greenland now speaks with its own voice in the modern world. 11. Greenland today. Challenges and dreams. Greenland today is a land of both strength and struggle. It is still cold and remote, but it is no longer cut off from the world. Most people live in small towns along the coast. The population is very small, with fewer than 60,000 people on the whole island. Communities are close, and people know each other well. Fishing is the most important industry in Greenland. Fish and seafood, especially shrimp and halibut, are sold to other countries. Fishing provides jobs and supports many families. Mining is also growing. Greenland has minerals like iron, gold, and rare earth elements. These resources could help the economy, but they also bring questions. Mining can damage nature if it is not done carefully. Tourism is another growing field. Visitors come to see icebergs, glaciers, northern lights, and Inuit culture. Tourism brings money, but it must be controlled to protect the land. Greenland still depends on financial support from Denmark. This helps pay for schools, hospitals, and public services. Some people worry about this dependence. Others see it as a step-by-step journey. Even with economic challenges, Greenlanders are proud of their culture. They speak Greenlandic, tell old stories, and respect the land and sea. Their dream is clear: to build a strong future without losing who they are. 12. Climate change. The future of ice. Climate change is one of the biggest challenges Greenland faces today. The ice is melting faster than ever before. Glaciers are shrinking. Sea ice forms later and breaks earlier. The land is changing in front of people's eyes. For Inuit hunters, this is dangerous. Thin ice makes travel risky. Animals move in new ways, and old knowledge does not always work. Melting ice brings both danger and opportunity. On one hand, rising sea levels threaten coastal communities around the world. Greenland's melting ice affects the whole planet. On the other hand, less ice opens new sea routes and makes natural resources easier to reach. This could bring more jobs and money, but it could also bring pollution and conflict. Greenland now stands at a crossroads. The world is watching. The people of Greenland carry a great responsibility. They must protect their land while choosing their future. Climate change is not only Greenland's problem. It is a global issue. The story of Greenland reminds us that ice, nature, and human life are deeply connected. What happens in the Arctic matters to us all. 13. Conclusion. A strong people in a changing world. The story of Greenland is a long journey from survival to self-direction. In the beginning, people came to this land only to live. They hunted, followed the ice, and listened to nature. Life was hard, and every day was a fight against cold, hunger, and darkness. Over time, people learned. They adapted. They built families, cultures, and strong traditions in one of the harshest places on Earth. Greenland's people have always been resilient. The Inuit learned how to live with nature, not against it. When outsiders arrived, Greenland changed again and again. Vikings came with hope. Denmark brought new systems and education. War and the modern world connected Greenland to the globe. Through all these changes, the people did not disappear. They adjusted, learned, and stood up again. Today, Greenland is moving toward greater independence. The people are proud of their language, culture, and land. They face new challenges, such as climate change and economic dependence, but they also carry old strength. The story of Greenland is not finished. It continues with every new generation. In a changing world, Greenland's people remain strong, watching the ice, shaping their future, and writing the next chapter of their history.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.